Are you frustrated of posting your images on Instagram? You spend hours in the field to get a photo you're genuinely proud of. You put in the effort and you finally capture a frame that actually means something to you. But even before you post it, you hesitate. You wonder, is this the kind of photo that works on Instagram? You get home, you edit it, and you post it anyway. It gets a few likes, hardly any comments. And almost immediately, a thought creeps in. Maybe this photo isn't that good. Maybe I'm not that good. But is that actually true? Or has Instagram slowly changed both how you shoot and how you judge your work? I am Shantanu, and if any of this sounded familiar to you, you're not alone. This is what most people are experiencing today. In this video, I want to talk about how Instagram quietly kills photography by changing how we shoot and by changing how we see ourselves. Let's begin. The first thing Instagram does is it starts shaping your photography style, how you compose, how you edit, and the kind of photos you shoot. Let's be honest, the platform is built vertically. A 4:5 image takes up more screen space in the feed, and in general, those kind of images tend to get more engagement than horizontal ones. So naturally, anyone will start framing for that vertical box. Tighter crops become the default. Subjects fill the frame. Eye contact feels important. Clean backgrounds feel safer. See, not because you sat down and decided this consciously, but because you've seen what tends to get noticed. And before you know it, all you're shooting are tight vertical portraits. And see, none of this is wrong, by the way. The problem is that it slowly becomes your default. Not because it reflects how you actually like to photograph, but because the platform keeps rewarding it. And at the same time, wider compositions start struggling. Environmental frames, layered scenes, more abstract images, they tend to get skipped over. See, not because they're bad photographs, but because they take a little time to understand. And Instagram simply isn't designed to give you that time. And slowly, without really noticing, riskier compositions start dropping out. Over time, you start looking for frames that would perform well on Instagram, frames that are safe and feel familiar. At the end of the day, you stop experimenting, and that limits your creativity. The same thing happens with editing. I hope you would have noticed. Instagram tends to reward a certain kind of editing style more consistently. Images with higher contrast, stronger saturation, and more sharpness often stop the scroll more easily. So over time, the edits start getting pushed. Colors get a little louder, contrast creeps up, sharpness increases. And before you know it, you've now picked up on a new editing style. Not because you consciously chose it, but because it's the kind of look that seems to work on the platform. Eventually, something more fundamental changes. You stop asking, what do I like about this scene? And you start asking, what will work on Instagram? At that point, you're no longer responding first to the animal, the light, or the moment. You're responding to expectations the platform has quietly trained you to anticipate. And if you stop experimenting, stop taking compositional risks, and stop letting your images fail, go only with the safe, tight portraits, you might increase your reach and engagement online, but you limit your potential as a photographer. And if you are in this for the long term, that's the worst thing to do. Now, the effects don't stay limited to your images. Over time, it starts affecting how you feel about your work. Most of us post photos on Instagram hoping they'll do well, right? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. The mistake we make is letting likes, comments, or shares decide whether our work was good or bad. Poor engagement plants doubt. It makes you question your composition, your editing, and sometimes even your ability as a photographer. See, not because the photo suddenly changed, but because the response to it was not good enough for you. What we often forget is that we don't actually have any control over whether a post works or not. See, the outcome depends on timing, reach, the algorithm, and a dozen factors you can't see or influence. So, basing your self worth on something this unpredictable, I feel it's a losing game. Think about this for a second. Even if just 5 people tell you on Instagram that they genuinely liked your photo, doesn't that still mean something? Imagine 5 people walking up to you in real life and saying the same thing. You wouldn't dismiss that. But online, we do the opposite. We focus on the likes we did not get instead of the ones we did. And that's how you begin devaluing your work. Not because it's bad, but because it simply didn't perform. A healthier approach is to judge the work yourself first. It's your photo, it's your way of seeing the world. You need to have some conviction in that. See, it might not be your best work ever, it might not be as good as someone else's, but it is still an honest reflection of where you are today as a photographer. So share it, try to improve, learn from it. Just don't let Instagram be your judge. Now, once you start posting on Instagram with the intention of growing, more followers, more reach, more visibility, one thing becomes inevitable. You're expected to produce high quality content frequently and consistently. And the pressure of content creation is real. Suddenly, you're on a schedule. There's a plan to follow. You need to keep posting. You need images, reels, videos, new ideas, and before you even enter the forest, you're already thinking about content. That mindset doesn't sit comfortably with wildlife photography. Because in wildlife photography, some days give you nothing. Some trips produce no usable frames. Some moments simply don't happen. You can't really plan wildlife the way you plan content. So instead of waiting for meaningful encounters, chasing strong compositions, or letting a moment unfold, you start feeling the need to come back with something. And that pressure is real. And before you know it, over time, the thing that once gave you joy, maybe even peace, starts feeling like pressure. So if Instagram can quietly change how you shoot and slowly mess with how you judge yourself, the real question becomes this: how do you protect yourself from it? The first thing you need to do is shoot for an audience of one, and that one is you. Forget Instagram. Forget how others are going to either like or dislike your photo. It doesn't matter. You need to be free of that thinking and start shooting for yourself. See, unless you do that, you'll stay stuck creating the same photographs over and over again, playing it safe, chasing what already works. And in that process, you'll never really discover your true potential or your own style. So don't work backwards from Instagram. Shoot what you like first and then post that on Instagram. The second thing you need to understand is this: how a photo performs on Instagram is not a reflection of how good you are or how good your photo is. This one is important, so I'll say it bluntly. High performing posts on Instagram don't always mean a photograph is good. Similarly, low performing posts don't always mean a photo is bad. Instagram rewards content that can stop someone mid scroll. Photos that grab attention instantly tend to get shown more. And when they get shown more, they get more likes, more comments, and more reach. But wildlife photography doesn't always work that way. Some images are subtle, some need context, some need time. Some images simply ask the viewer to slow down and really look. And on a small phone screen with a fast scrolling feed, those photos don't always stand a fair chance. And that doesn't make them worse photographs. It just means that they don't fit how attention works on Instagram. The mistake is assuming that good photos will always perform well. That's simply not true. And once you separate these two things, quality and performance, a lot of your frustration disappears. See, Instagram is not a judge, it's only a distribution platform. Sometimes your work will get good distribution, sometimes it won't. I've personally seen my weaker photos do very well, and the photos I care deeply about go nowhere. Post photos because you like them. And if they don't get big numbers, be okay with that. You still created something, and that matters. You shared it, and some people saw it and connected with it. For me personally, if I like my photograph, that's usually enough. It doesn't need to be the best image in the world. My goal is to make photographs I connect with and share them honestly. It's my vision, and not everyone has to like it, and I'm okay with that. The third thing you need to do is detach yourself from Instagram. Trust me, this is probably the most important mindset shift. Ask yourself honestly, why are you posting on Instagram? If your goal is to become an influencer, for example, that's a completely different journey altogether. It involves consistency, pressure, disappointment, and a lot of grind. It's hard. And I genuinely respect people who attempt it or succeed at it. The effort required is often underestimated. And I'll be honest, I am not the right person to tell you how to become an influencer. For most photographers, though, that isn't the goal. If wildlife photography is a hobby or a passion or something you're actively trying to get better at, then Instagram doesn't need to be anything more than a gallery for you. Post what you like, be indifferent to the outcome. You'll be surprised how freeing that feels. The pressure simply disappears. You stop shooting for Instagram and start shooting for yourself. Over time, your photography actually improves. And you may still build an audience. Maybe not a huge one, but one that genuinely cares about your work and your style. And see, I've been through this myself. I used to care deeply about growth once. And I realized fairly quickly that it wasn't the path I wanted to follow. The moment I stopped stressing about Instagram, everything changed. And for the better. Now I just post whatever I want. And I'm not anxious about performance. Trust me, the mental freedom alone has been worth it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this perspective helps you. If there's one thing I'd want you to take away from this video, it's this. If posting on Instagram starts weighing you down, pause for a second and remind yourself, why did you start in the first place? For most of us, the answer is simple. It was the love for wildlife. And I'm pretty sure most of us did not start doing this just so that we could post on Instagram. Remember, when you start shooting for the platform, your photography slowly changes. And when you start judging yourself through that platform, the joy slowly disappears. So try to shoot for yourself first. Make the images you care about. Take the risks you want to take. Let the photos fail if they need to. Use Instagram if it helps you share that work. But don't let it decide how you feel about your photography or yourself. That's it. If you're struggling with these same things, let me know in the comments how you're dealing with them. And if you're someone who's actually doing well on Instagram, share what's worked for you so the rest of us can learn too. I'm Shantanu, and if you liked this video, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.